know.
Hi,
Internet.
Internet. Derek is still away with his preemie baby, doing dad duties for that and not being able to podcast. He says he might come back next week, but I don't know. So, in the interim, I have one Joseph Craig with me.
Hello, Internet. Thank you for
So,
having me.
yeah, you're welcome for having you because whatever. I'll just talk on behalf of the internet for now
Yeah,
because
that's
the
perfect.
internet never answers.
Yeah, I wish they
Very
did.
disappointing. Full disclosure, Joe works with me, and I don't. Are you my boss? Because you're a manager.
I don't know. I, I
Yeah,
I like to think that I run the place, but I
there
probably
you
don't.
go. Somebody has to do it. So,
Exactly.
anyways, don't make too much fun of him in the comments or whatever. If
Yeah.
anybody comes, I know you're all busy eating turkey with your families, which I guess is all right.
I mean, I'm
So,
pretty excited.
yeah, you're having turkey dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. Big fam jam dinner.
We're going to White Spot tomorrow to have turkey dinner, which is
That's also good.
awesome. Because
That
it
is
was like
awesome.
the question was, do we want to go to like the Boathouse or a fancy restaurant?
Yeah.
And then someone suggested White Spot, and I was like, I would prefer White Spot. Even if it wasn't cheaper, I'd rather go there
Yeah.
because I'm a basic bitch and I'm
All
not
good.
apologetic about it because I love it.
Yeah, I love it too, man.
My favorite restaurants are the chain restaurants like White Spot, Earl's, Milestones,
My number one used to be Denny's.
Joe's.
Like,
Yeah.
cause we didn't have Denny's where I grew up, so it was an hour and a half long trip
Where
I
the
would
fuck
take
did you grow
to get
up?
Denny's in Prince Rupert, man.
Oh.
Like,
Oh yeah, Prince Rupert. I always think it's Prince George.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was way worse.
Yeah, no, I grew up in a town that didn't have Denny's, but the nearest Denny's was like a half hour away. But
You make
I
that
don't know.
trek, man.
I was a poor child, so I never went to Denny's on my own anyway. I didn't go there till college, but I've spent some time in Denny's. It's no longer my favorite.
Yeah,
I
it's no
mean,
longer mine anymore now that I moved here.
I don't know if it ever was my favorite, but I did end up eating there after the bar a lot.
Sounds
Sorry, I
about
just
right.
found a card on my desk I'd never seen before. And I was like, is this important? And then I was like, oh, right, I'm doing the podcast. I should probably try to pay attention to
Focus, Dale.
it. Focus. Um, so I sent you the list of stuff that we were going to talk about. Did anything grab your
Yeah,
fancy?
no, there's a couple things for sure. Honestly, every single topic that you sent me, I'm completely unaware of. So,
Oh, that's
you know,
okay.
there's a few things that I read into, and then there's a couple things that I actually
Let's
did
talk about
some
the
research.
biggest story in Canada right now.
Yes.
This fucking hockey thing, eh?
Yeah, this
Eh?
actually blew my mind because, like I said, I don't really pay attention to the news. I just
Yeah,
kind of, I'm very closed off from social media and the news.
that's
I
fine.
actually criticize my dad for watching the news. Kind of a bit
Is
of
your
a dick.
dad on social media?
Nah, kind of yes and no. He just like surfs Facebook. That's it.
Oh, okay.
He watches a lot of news, like an abnormal amount of news.
I mean, it's good to be informed. Does he watch multiple sources of news or one
No,
specific?
it's very like one-sided.
Which one is it?
Uh, I don't know. It's like very against Trump right now. Like he's been watching a
Oh,
lot of the Trump coverage, right? It's just
Joe,
like,
is your dad a libtard?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. He's like,
Is
he's very hippie though, to be
oh,
honest.
okay. Does he watch like CNN and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's actually that's I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just
I
surprised
mean, I
because
don't
whenever
know either
yeah,
way because I just kind of ignore it all.
yeah,
And
when you hear about parents being like taking their news from one source, it's usually Fox News because it's just like the age bracket.
yeah,
So kudos to your dad for going to the left side for his news. I
yeah,
mean, it's not good to get all your news from one source, but if you're getting it from one source, the left is probably more trustworthy than the right.
yeah. I feel like either way, it's a load of crap, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I just get all my news from like fucking podcasts that are disenfranchised. So I just listen to bitter news and everybody's like, this is what's wrong. And it's like, that
Yeah.
is wrong.
But this is honestly mind blowing to me. I
The
mean,
weird thing about this, like the whole Hockey Canada. So I guess I didn't even introduce the topic. So Hockey Canada this week has seen all of its major sponsors leave them and be like, we're not going to sponsor you, which is good because Hockey Canada is a corrupt organization that's been shielding their sexual abuse people and
it's
claims and stuff.
basically like a gang rape type situation,
Yeah, that's
and
what happened. Was
super
that just
dark.
like a new one that happened? Because for
Well,
me,
no more.
Hockey Canada was like there was always a sexual abuse claim, like since the 80s or whatever. And it's just like I hear it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a terrible organization. But then all of a sudden it just like everybody just got fed up. Was this a
Yeah.
new specifically worse one?
Well, they like there's I seen another article about it, and there's some pretty
Hmm.
gruesome details, and it was very graphic the way that they described what happened.
Hmm.
Basically, there's this young girl that was at a bar and with a bunch of college hockey players, and
Yeah.
they all um that she was flirting with this one guy. The one guy added her on Snapchat, started kissing her and whatever. They had like this consensual thing going on. And then he
Hmm.
started suggesting that like the other players of the team start kissing her. And she's like, "No, I'm not really cool with that." And then so they basically got her drunk, brought her to her hotel, and then they started having consensual sex. Then brought in the rest of the team. And
Oh,
like that
gross.
to me is just absolutely insane. Like
Okay, so you're saying it's this one specific
I feel
thing
like
that
it's
was
this
like,
one. Yeah, I feel like it's this one thing that really stood out, but maybe I mean it's something that I'm pretty unaware of whether or not that
yeah,
this has been
because
a ongoing thing. I mean, by the sounds of it, it has been.
do you know when this happened? This specific one?
Uh,
Because I read this one article, the CBC article, and it said that since 1989, they've given out 21 different payments equaling up to 8.9 million. So I was like, yeah, this has been going on for was that 33 years. That
yeah.
doesn't make it okay,
Oh, for
but I
sure.
was just wondering why all the sponsors are leaving now. But I guess the one you were talking about, that's like the latest one, and everybody's like, all right, this is fucking enough. And
Yeah.
everybody's calling for Hockey Canada to take responsibility and I guess either fire someone, hoist someone on a petard to get rid of them. And
Yeah.
Hockey Canada's just closing ranks.
Yeah, instead of just like covering it up and being like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, kind of brush it under the rug, pay some people, and hope it doesn't get out in the news too much.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Like that's
so
kind of that's sketchy.
yeah, and even fucking Trudeau's like, I can't believe Hockey Canada's not taking this seriously and stuff. And I think that actually might have been like the one linchpin that everyone was like, all right, if the fucking prime minister's commenting, we're out. So Telus is out,
Yeah.
Tim Hortons is out, Canadian Tire's out, Skip the Dishes is out, Sobeys is out. Nike put their sponsorship on hold, so they're not fully out. But I think I've only heard we're out forever from Canadian Tire, but
Which is pretty wild. Like,
yeah, it is.
I mean,
It's
that's a huge
crazy to see
sponsorship.
like all of those companies, but I guess it's like once one leaves, all the
Yeah,
other ones are going to be like, we don't want to be the sympathizers. We don't want the bad press from being okay with this. So they're all leaving.
no, it makes sense.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just can't believe that something like this is commonplace, right? Like it's just been happening forever, and I've
Yeah.
been completely unaware of it my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard it in the periphery, so
Yeah,
but it
no, for
is
sure.
it is nice to see that like godless corporations are going to be like, yeah, like I mean, they're not doing it on a morality basis. They obviously just care about
Yeah,
the bottom line, but it's
yeah,
nice to see that nowadays we're in a time when whether you like before when I was making fun of Joe's dad for being on the left or whatever it is, it's nice to see that social justice has been driven forward enough that companies see the bottom line as like being forced to act in a moral manner
yeah,
where they're like, we have to ditch these rapists. We can't be aligned with them and stuff. So that's good, even though
yeah, for
they're
sure.
not doing it because they're like, we're good people or whatever.
But it's more of expected of them to do
Hmm.
the right thing now instead of do what they wanted to do. Just do what they want, honestly.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
good.
No, that's pretty wild
So
and
that's.
extremely interesting. The other thing that I found hilarious, and it kind of reminds me, like those TikTok challenges, like all
Mhm.
the Kia thefts and even the Benadryl thing, the exact same, the exact
Oh
same
yeah.
thing, pretty
Okay,
much.
don't worry. We'll get to them all, Joe.
I
You
thought
don't have
those
to
were
just
kind of
pepper them in.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about the Kia Boys one then, because you brought it up.
yeah,
Um, on Outrage Factory, we are widely known for our segues, and that was a good one.
yeah.
So, just kidding. I'm gonna
Solid.
pull up the article. So the Kia Boys thing, if you don't know what it is on TikTok. There was a challenge to, well, I don't know if it was a challenge, but it started with a couple videos showing how easy it was to hotwire Kias and Hyundais, I think.
Yeah, high end days. And
And
honestly, it's pretty similar to just about any other car.
oh, really?
Like a lot of cars you can hijack like this.
Like,
Not
even though I work at a mechanic shop, I'm not one of the mechanics. Joe's actually a mechanic, so he can mansplain this to me because I don't quite know what's going on.
It's pretty
Because
basic.
they just said they were hot wiring Hyundais and Kias with a thumb drive or like a
Like a USB drive.
yeah, USB drive, and I was like, I don't understand. So
Well,
explain this to me, Joseph.
all they do, right? Like
Hmm.
there's a little cover underneath your column, your steering column, where you go to adjust the height of your steering wheel.
Yeah.
So like a little cover. They just go in there. It takes them like 30 seconds, which is kind of mind blowing. They
Hmm.
they manage to either break your window or they try and find unlocked cars. Typically, the car's unlocked. Hop in, pop the little plastic cover down, and then there's a little um like code reader kind of that reads a code from the key fob to the car, and they just
Hmm.
basically rip that out, and then they could fool the car into it's like
Wait, 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 wait. I
a
have one
security
question.
bypass.
I have one question.
Yeah,
You said there's like a security reader or whatever.
yeah.
Do I have to put something on this USB to trick the car into thinking
No,
like,
it's
can I get
basically just
this?
like getting rid of the security of the car. Just rip it
Oh,
out
really?
and then turn it. Yeah, it's like most cars you can't just bypass that. You have to trick it into doing something. Like
Hmm.
sometimes what mechanics will do when you have to replace a key fob, they'll
Yeah.
um they'll put the bad fob by the key while they turn the key in order to make it think that the right key is in the ignition. But if you just rip that
Oh.
right out, it's just like a little um code reader. What I don't know how to explain that. Like
Okay. So I have
RFID
another
reader or whatever.
question. So you're saying that just sticking any USB doesn't matter what's on it. It
No,
just has to be a USB.
if you see,
Putting that
yeah, like a charger
into
cord.
the slot just bypasses that completely. It's not because
Honestly,
I thought
I'm
there
pretty
was
sure
like a
they could just use a screwdriver, to be honest.
oh, okay, because I thought there was just like there was some code from a hacker from
No,
LimeWire or some shit that they put on the USB that says, "Hey, this is the guy who owns the car." But I guess it would be like
it's
maybe
way
electrical
simpler than
short or
that.
something.
Yeah, what there is way simpler than that.
That's wild. Why would they
That's
even build
basically
that
just
into the car?
well, most cars, like if you disable that security function, it'll prevent the car from starting, right?
Oh, so
But
it's just
it's
Kias
like
and
a,
Hyundais?
yeah, it's and then some other models of cars which have similar systems. So
Mm,
I'm pretty sure there'll probably be either a massive recall or they like in was it in Chicago or Milwaukee or whatever where
yeah.
it started, they started giving out um wheel locks, like steering wheel locks for free.
Oh, so they're like,
Yeah.
have a club. Your car's a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Dude, it's wild. Like I watched some of the videos of these guys and it's
Yeah.
insane. Have you seen any of them?
I saw one or two, but it just to me it just looked like they were like, and then they drove away, and I was like, I
Exactly.
don't
That's all like
understand what
exactly.
happened.
They ripped out that security feature and just jam something in the ignition, turn the key and it starts.
It looked so fake. It looked like a TV show from the 90s when they would just rip off the side of the steering column and like stab a
Yep.
screwdriver in, and then the car would start. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so I saw that with the USB thing. I was like, that looks so fake. I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah. It's pretty mind blowing. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure what they're I mean, all carjackings have to be super simple, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't just sit there for like a half hour trying to get this car started
Yeah.
by connecting wires or whatever. It has to be fast. So they figured
So
out a way.
you're a mechanic guy. In the movies, when they hot wire a car and they take like the green one and the white one and then like go like tss, 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 is that real or is that
Yeah,
just
yeah, that's
oh
real.
you could do it like that?
Yeah, because like your starter, the way it works,
Yeah.
there's a little solenoid that gets engaged. It's like small bit of power that is required to engage the solenoid, right?
Yeah.
And then so if you connect, you know how on your ignition it says ACC on and then engine start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just basically connect the two wires that are for your ignition power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you touch the two wires together to send a signal to your starter to engage, and then you disconnect the wires to make sure that your starter's not constantly spinning.
Oh.
Yeah,
So touching the wires is like turning the key?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So it's actually pretty
crazy.
accurate.
That's wild. I
Yeah.
totally thought it was totally fake.
I mean, the
So,
only thing about that though is you'd have to know which wires to connect. So
okay.
like unless you looked at a wiring schematic before you or you knew exactly which wires.
Can
So
you get shocked from doing this?
yeah, but it's not that much voltage.
Like
Like I've been
dead shocked?
electrocuted. I've like if for one of our machines, I've been electrocuted with 600 volts
Humble
almost.
brag. I've been electrocuted.
Dude, like
Ladies.
by a lot, man. We had one of our truck drivers boomed up a machine right underneath high voltage power lines,
Shut up,
and then
really?
yeah, and then they gave us a call and they're like, "Hey, this machine's not starting." So Duncan sends me there. I go and look at it, right?
Don't say
And
names.
sorry, and
That's
then
that's fine.
so he
Don't say where we work either, because
no
I
worries,
haven't said that on the pod, and I don't think enough people watch this for it to matter. But it's a
doesn't
streak
matter.
I want to keep going. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
So
our
he
boss.
parks this machine underneath the power lines. I get asked to go out there and look at it, and I'm
Mhm,
not really cluing into the situation right away. You know those electrical boxes that like buzz
yeah,
like when you walk up to them? That the
yeah.
whole machine was doing that.
Oh
And it took me
shit.
a second to realize what was going on.
Yeah.
But I found out real quick when like I was wearing rubber gloves when I
Hmm.
was like touching the machine and looking at it. And
Yeah.
then part of my exposed skin touched the frame of the machine and like
Yeah.
got like a crazy shock and like ripped my arm away and jumped away from the machine.
Oh
And I
shit.
was like, I was phased. So I took my meter and I connected it to the machine, like from the
Yeah.
ground of the battery to the frame of the machine. It was 600 volts of AC going through the machine from the
Oh
power
fuck.
lines. Like it's not much current, but it was like still enough to be concerned and like kind of scared
Wait,
me.
did the driver get shocked when he was playing with the
No,
controls?
he must have been wearing gloves too, right? So
That makes sense.
the second it hit the spot, he turns it off and walks away.
Did
Yeah, it
they
was pretty
fry the
wild.
machine?
No, it's just the only thing that happened was um, the machine thought it was on the whole time because it looks for an AC
Oh,
signal from the alternator
okay.
to tell it that it's on and running.
Yeah,
So all I did was just because the battery was like overcharged from the
yeah.
voltage from the power line, so I just changed the battery.
So you took, what'd you say, 600 amp or volt? I can't
600
remember.
volts. It was like
So you took
600 volts.
600 volts.
Yeah,
And if there's any single ladies out there that are into
yeah,
shock play,
yeah, that's right.
we
I'm
know our
down.
boy Joseph can take one. So
Yeah,
text,
many.
send me a message, and
The first thing that popped in my head when that
I'll
happened.
forward him your number, and you guys can speak on the DL. Matchmaker over here.
Yeah, that's right. This just turned into a matchmaking show.
Yeah, this is just me trying to get you laid for the whole podcast by
I'm
freaks who
down.
are into shocks.
We might need a couple more episodes though, honestly. But
Yeah, you'll go to some chick's house and she'll have a couple car batteries in her bedroom, and you'll be like, "Oh, what's that for?" And then
then
it's like in a horror movie where she's like got the two
touching
things.
them
It's like
together.
zap zap.
Oh man, you're like
Ah,
describing my wildest fantasy right now.
there you go, ladies. He's into it. Uh, Tell me after we're done recording which driver it was, because in my mind, I'm paranoid that everyone we work with watches this, so I never want to throw anybody under the bus,
Yeah,
or because I make.
I don't know who it was.
Oh, okay,
I have no idea who it was.
nice, diplomatic.
The funny thing was, is there's signs everywhere that said
Oh, crazy.
no boom lifts in this area, like everywhere. It was very specific.
I have a guess who it was, but
Yeah,
yeah, because I talk about a guy who I call crazy right wing guy, crazy old right wing guy, and I like it's a guy you know, and I'll tell you
yeah,
after who it is because I tweet about it and stuff. But that's his nickname and stuff, and it's
yeah.
just the funniest shit that we talk about. You probably already know who it is, but don't say it
Oh, I'm not.
out loud. So back to so
It's pretty
could
interesting.
we go steal cars?
Yeah, for
We would
sure. I'm
never
down.
because
Dude, this is something that I
we're
used
good
to do.
boys.
I actually spent a
Don't
night
say
in
that.
jail. Dude, I'm not even lying.
Oh,
I
really?
when I was younger, I did some stupid things, right? Like, and I ended
Bro,
up
this
stealing.
podcast is watched by like 20 people. You could get in trouble.
It's all good.
What if one of those people knows a cop?
Well, I was already arrested for it, so
Oh, were you young enough that your record was wiped?
yeah, I was 15 years
Well, Joe, now they know again. Before it
old.
was a secret.
I feel like I've told everyone this anyways.
Yeah.
It's like
I
one of my
mean,
favorites.
yeah, that's a good point.
Makes
Like you
me
don't
feel sound more cool, you know.
dude, we already talked about you getting your nipples zapped by women. You don't have to up the coolness. They're already in. They're already all
But
the way in.
the thing that I did find interesting about this was when it comes to the police pursuits, and depending on which state that they're in,
Hmm.
like the police pursuits could end in two ways. It could either be a terminated pursuit like right away because these guys drive like absolute maniacs,
Yeah.
or you could be in like Arkansas and they'll pit maneuver your ass at 100 miles an hour on the
Yeah, that's
interstate.
scary. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's funny because there's so many people have died from so many high-speed chases in the States that they like
yeah.
do not pursuit now. And they're like, it's a fucking Hyundai. We'll get it in the ditch when they're done joyriding. And
No,
I'm like,
exactly, and they always find it somewhere
yeah.
destroyed, obviously.
I mean, if I was a cop and I was chasing like a Kia that got stolen, I'd be like, guys, it's a Kia. Like,
Yeah,
I'll pit maneuver them because that's fun as hell, but I don't want to
yeah,
fucking smash into 100 things and do a whole lot of paperwork for a fucking Kia.
yeah. No, it's crazy, but it's nuts. Like you should hear them when they're announcing like how many streets, like all the streets that they're going down, because they
Oh,
switch
yeah.
directions so many times, and the guy just like gives up just on the fact that he has to announce where they're going all the time. Like, this is ridiculous. All right, I'm terminating pursuit.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember like a week ago, I looked for some of the videos, but I couldn't find them on TikTok. Where did you find them?
I found them on YouTube.
Oh,
Dude, they're like
see, that's a
hanging
good
out the
move.
car door, going
Mm.
down the going down like small narrow streets like we have in Vancouver,
Oh, yeah.
doing like 80 miles an hour.
Dude, I'm such like a wuss now, like from seeing so many deaths on the internet. Like I'll be on Reddit in the what can go wrong subreddit, and
Yeah.
it'll be a car driving, and a guy will be like you're talking about hanging out the window. I'm like, nope, I don't
Nope.
fucking want to see this guy get
Yeah,
chewed
dude.
up. I don't
Yeah.
need to see this.
And they're like almost running over pedestrians. Like, it's commonplace for them to have to jump out of the way of these
Hmm.
guys that are stealing Kias. And they're like they steal probably like 3 or 4 a day. That's insane.
Oh man, I mean, if you're gonna steal Kias, you'd want to steal two and smash them into each other.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, it's like a total joyride. And these guys think that there's zero consequences to what they do. They're like, oh, it's
There
just a
is.
misdemeanor, and which is pretty accurate. Most of them don't
Hmm.
get caught, and they usually get thrown out of the system within like half a year, or at the most half a year. Sometimes
Oh
they only
really?
go to jail for a couple of weeks, and then that's
Yeah,
it.
I'm not too familiar with. I hear on Joe Rogan and stuff that crime in the States is like they're just letting people out on without bail because there's this like
There's an overcrowding of the jail.
poverty reform thing in some states where it was like it was poor people were spending more time in jail and like losing their jobs because they couldn't afford bail. So they started this like proactive thing where they're doing like no bail so people could like leave and wait at home until they had their trial or whatever. And it's like backfiring because these criminals are just like getting out and then going and doing more crime. I don't know. That's through the old guy filter of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
podcast I was listening to. So I don't know if it's that bad, but
I mean,
it's
have you been to the States? Like,
Not since before COVID.
Yeah, I mean, last time I went to the States was before COVID,
Yeah.
and we almost got robbed, and
Ooh,
it was pretty crazy. Like this dude just came out of nowhere with a pipe wrench, and he was like ready. He was fully ready to rob us.
Jesus.
And
How big
but
was a pipe wrench?
it was like I don't know, probably about like 8, 10 inches. It was a pretty large pipe wrench.
Okay.
Like he was ready to go, and he had his hood like over his eyes, and he was just
Yeah.
kind of like my dad for whatever reason had his wallet open, and he was like, Joe, do you have my credit card? And he just kept asking me that question while this
Yeah.
guy was staring at him with his wallet open, and I was holding a squeegee cleaning the windows, and I
Yeah.
was like
Oh, this
ready
was
to
at a gas
yeah,
station?
at a gas station, and I was ready to like attack this dude because I thought he was going to rob us. And then
Yeah.
he looks at me, looks at my dad, looks at me, and then he just walks off. Right. So we're like,
Oh,
oh, thank
wow.
God. And then I see him walk over to one of the gas pumps. He pulls out the nozzle and tries to light it on fire. And
Jesus.
the dude inside the gas station is like, what's going on? Like he calls
Yeah.
the cops, and I'm like, Dad, we got to get out of here. Like this place is not
Yeah.
safe.
We're going to a different gas station.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw someone I think it was in like a third world country or whatever, like or Brazil or something where people get jacked all the time. And
Yeah.
somebody tried to rob someone in a gas station there. And the guy just fucking starts hosing them down with gas. And I was like, Jesus, that's a lot. That'd almost be better to just give them your wallet than to waste gas with how
Yeah.
expensive
Straight
it
up.
is right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the amount of balls it would take to just fucking spray gas and be like, if I die, we both die.
Yeah. I would
Just
never do
because
that.
like if something lights that on fire,
No, it's an interesting
yikes.
defense tactic for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel for these kids. They live in such a terrible circumstances where this is like where they get their kicks off, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if it's terrible circumstances
Well,
or
actually some
it's
of them
fun
do
as
have
fuck to steal
yeah.
cars.
It's funny because some of the older gangsters in the neighborhood are like, yeah, I don't condone this. And yet they're like selling drugs.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, they only sell the nice drugs.
Yeah, exactly. They're like they should just be selling drugs. I thought that was funny.
Speaking of dumb shit that little kids with hard lives are doing, pe- like this is another one of those things that just makes me feel like the oldest man because I heard about it and I was like, wait, what? Like this is to me, this is in the eating Tide Pods level of what
Yeah,
the
no,
fuck.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
And it's cooking your chicken in NyQuil. So people like there I saw a video and this kid was like, he takes a chicken breast and it's like in a bit of water and then he just dumps NyQuil on it. And then I guess I could see why they're doing this because they seem to get the kid high as fuck because he left his
Yeah.
spatula in the pan. He's like, oh shit. And then it was like, is this just to get high? Like, am I
Yeah.
old? Or do people like the taste of NyQuil that much?
Yeah. And obviously to get high. Like
Yeah,
they're
that's
trying
true.
to but it takes a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't just take like a bottle of Benadryl and get high.
Hmm.
They take like 12 or like sometimes like two
Jesus.
dozen bottles.
Yeah. So do they eat the chicken or is it just the cooking with the chicken?
I've even
Such an
heard
old man.
I've heard
Such an
that they're
old
even
man.
just straight the drinking the bottles even.
Well, yeah, I could see how that would just like I guess if you get NyQuil that has codeine in it, it'll kind of knock you out.
Like I feel like cooking yeah, I honestly feel like cooking it in the chicken doesn't really do much to
Yeah.
it like other than make the chicken taste like shit.
Is this like a lean or scissor thing?
Pretty much,
Where
yeah.
it's just like, cause like,
Exactly. Well, it's just one of
yeah,
those things that, you know, became popular, right? I mean, like, why
yeah,
would anyone eat a Tide Pod?
that's true.
You know, like, there's no real sense to it, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I don't know how
Well,
high you'd get from,
well, the Tide
ingesting.
Pod thing is dumb, but it's just like it's kind of like a dare, like I dare you to put soap in your mouth or whatever.
Yeah,
But this one, it was like it wasn't. I don't know. Like I'm trying to decide it because, like, I guess if you put NyQuil in a frying pan and the vapor rises up and cooks, that would get you fucked up.
yeah.
But I don't know if the chicken
Like,
has a part of like the chemical process of getting you high, or if I'm just thinking about this too much, or if I'm
yeah,
just
no,
too young
I'd,
to really
to me,
understand.
I don't understand either. I'd, like, when I read this, it was like, I was honestly shook. I was like, excuse me? People are doing what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
People need to go back to smoking weed and dropping LSD.
Yeah. Like now that weed's legal, kids are like, well, I don't want to smoke weed now. I want to just
Yeah.
fucking cook my chicken with cough syrup. Or wait, NyQuil's not cough syrup. That's like
NyQuil.
NyQuil's just like, what is it? It's
So
just
it's
like the shit
Benadryl.
you drink to put you asleep.
I think it's the cough syrup. It's just literally over the counter cough and cold medication.
Okay. I know, but it's like the stuff you make in a mug and or am I thinking of something else? No, I'm thinking of the
Pretty sure
stuff
it's
that you
just like
make
this.
like hot chocolate.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not the
Neocitrin,
tea.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
No, no, no.
Okay. Yeah, I guess this is just like what, super strong nighttime cough medicine?
Exactly.
I mean,
They're
if
just
these
drinking it
kids
and cooking with it and
yeah,
making all sorts of contraptions with it. And it's funny because like
yeah.
some of these videos they're showing them like showing off how much stock they have of their NyQuil. It's just like
The
I
cupboard's
can't
full.
believe someone would actually spend the time to do
Yeah.
something like that. And people
Like,
actually find it like
you know what?
captivating.
I'm gonna Google how much NyQuil costs around here
You
because
know
I
what? And
feel like it would just be cheaper to drink.
yeah, I honestly agree. And I'm pretty sure that's what they were more worried about with this.
Uh, yeah.
And a few kids have died already too.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like teens have died over this because when they overdose, they don't like they don't know what to do. They're not prepared for it. They're just kids, like
Oh, fucking Amazon's not even selling NyQuil anymore. NyQuil anymore.
yeah,
These
they're like we need to
fucks.
discontinue this.
They ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
NyQuil at Target. So yeah, because you can't get it. Oh, this is going to be American prices, so it's going to be like, okay, so it's $10.99 for how much is this? For 12 fluid ounces, that's what, like 354 milliliters. It's not that much. So that's more
Yeah,
expensive
they're
than
like
like
little
a
bottles.
Mickey.
Little bottles.
Yeah.
And they have like like they ingest like say a dozen to 2 dozen of these bottles.
Jesus, that's like
Yeah, though.
$200 if you're in Canada.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I feel like it's probably these parents that are paying for it. They're like,
Can't
take the mom's card, go down to the pharmacy, and they don't ask any questions at the pharmacy.
Yeah, like I feel like these people should just go in the bush and get alcohol poisoning like we did. Maybe
Exactly,
they're
man.
not
Get
in
their
small
stomachs
towns.
pumped, experience what life is really like.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
make your bad decisions the old way
But
in the middle
both
of
of
nowhere.
those topics were interesting because they both root from TikTok challenges, right?
Hmm.
Just like the other challenges and popular internet challenges. And
Yeah.
in the article that you sent me, it shows TikTok's guidelines, dangerous acts and challenges and things like that, how they forbid these things, and yet they do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Kind
They should just like be showing their boobs in cosplay,
of.
like all the TikToks I watch,
Yeah,
or
right.
cooking food
Yeah,
outside.
I think
Like
it's
those
kind of funny.
TikToks where they're like, we're gonna cook food outside, and it's just like, just cook it inside.
Yeah, man,
What is
be
this?
regular.
Yeah.
I feel like TikTok's more or less turning into uh like remember like how World Star had all those crazy videos or um
Isn't I've never really watched World Star. It's just people beating each other up from what I
basically or
gather.
like doing stupid shit. I feel like that's what TikTok is just becoming is like who can do the stupidest thing and
Yeah.
make it popular.
Yeah, it's that and it's like boobies.
Yeah. No,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, thought traps. Yeah.
well, like junior high porn where it's like they don't show even nipples. It's just like cleavage and jiggle.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
um
The internet of things.
yeah. Oh, what else there was? Okay, I got
Uh
this list. Got the list in front of me, and super good podcasting is me reading this list and trying to decide what to read. Oh, let's talk about something we've never talked about on this podcast, in the 221 episodes that we've posted, and that is fishing derbies.
That's
Because the most dramatic video and literally the only time I've ever been interested in a fishing derby came out, and it was fucking lit at Loot, which is what's that stand for? So Lake Erie Fishing Tournament. I don't know where the W or T come from. So there's this Lake Erie fishing tournament where these two guys were going to take their fish up to be weighed, and I don't remember. I don't know. It's not clear like why the like judges cut open their fish, but they found lead weights. So I guess what happened was these guys caught the fish and they just shoved wet lead weights down the mouths of the dead
yeah.
fish and like other fish fillets. So they'd like cut fish apart, the little ones they caught, shove them in the big one. And my question is, why the fuck wasn't everybody doing this?
Yeah, right. Like, how's it just one guy that was
Yeah.
cheating?
They're like the old like I mean, this does restore faith in humanity if for however many years this fishing tournament's been around, nobody was like, I'm going to cheat. They're all like, we're good people and we don't
Yeah,
do
like
that because it's like this fisherman's code thing.
I do find it hard to believe that is the case, though.
Yeah. Okay. It
I
was
mean,
the Lake Erie Walleye Trail. That
yeah.
was the fishing tournament. That's what Loot stands for.
And so this guy like just absolutely loses it. He's like, he's got weights in the belly. He's got weights in the belly.
Oh
And like,
no, dude. The video is awesome. Here,
I
I'll
haven't
put a
even watched
link.
it.
Oh, you gotta watch the video because it's like so I think it was on TikTok first,
Oh, damn.
or so what happens is the one guy, because it's you fish in pairs. One guy fucked off right away because he knew it was going down. Then this other guy's standing there, and there's people like screaming with all the hatred they have against everything. Like these guys might as well have murdered people because they're like, "How could you do this? We believed in you.
Yeah.
You were champions." And they like last year these two guys won $300,000 worth of gear and
Oh,
prizes. Like they won
damn.
a boat, they might have won a truck and stuff. And these guys are like, "You guys won a boat!" And then they're just like everybody's screaming, and it's amazing. It's must watch video. It's only like
Yeah.
30 seconds
Yeah, no,
long.
I'm watching it right now and it's pretty wild.
Yeah,
You're
and
you're
it's
totally right.
wild.
These guys are jacked up. Like the scary thing is the guy that's cutting open the fish, he's got a knife in his hand.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah, he
that's like,
just
don't gesture with a knife,
you're
fellas.
like, oh God, this could turn bad really quick.
Yeah. And of course, like in the day and age of the internet we live in, it's like, great, is this going to be a video where we watch someone get stomped to death because
Yeah.
they cheated at a fishing tournament? But no, they just get yelled at and stuff. So
Yeah, they make him feel
obviously,
really, really bad.
yeah. I don't know why the guy just stood there. He was just like
Yeah, I would just
standing
been
there with
like,
his
I'm
hands
gonna
down.
leave, honestly.
I would have just been like, I would have fucking ran away
Yeah,
because
man.
those people were very angry.
That's pretty ballsy of him to stay there for sure.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I would have definitely left. And my question is, who showed this guy how to do this? Did you just come up with this?
I
Obviously
mean,
not.
it's not that ingenious. He's like,
It's
why don't
definitely
we just
not.
shove weights down the fish's mouth?
Yeah, I
I
feel
mean, I
like
kind of maybe it was so dumb and obvious. That's why they got busted and they didn't do this the year before. Like maybe they got addicted to all the fucking glamour you get from winning a fishing
it is pretty
tournament.
wild. I didn't think that you'd make that much money from a fishing tournament, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I think it's like,
also doesn't surprise me too much.
if I remember correctly from reading the article, there's like four tournaments that it's like this big like thing, and they won a bunch of them and all combined. Like they didn't win 300,000 for one tournament last year. They won a bunch and won all that over them all. But they're probably just like got so many fishing tournament groupies that they're like, we can't go back to peasants. We got to stay fisher kings
Hell yeah,
by
stay at
any
the top
means
of the leaderboard.
necessary.
I don't care
Yeah.
what happens.
So
No
they like
consequence.
they got these shitty little skinny fish and like we can't fucking go in there with these. So they just like, and the balls they put in were like this
Oh, they're
big. Like
massive. Yeah, no, they're massive.
the funniest thing was they were probably like, here's my fish. and it
Yeah.
just was all like fucking lumpy because you could see the fucking
Yeah,
balls
you
in
had
its
to have, man.
stomach.
But like a fish's stomach is not very big in the first place, man.
Yeah.
Shoving those weights in there, that would be pretty obvious.
Yeah, or it was like he handed it to him and it was like 10 pounds heavier. And the guy's like, what the fuck? This fish is heavy as shit.
That's wild, man. Congratulations, you won.
Here's your $300,000.
You know that honestly, stories like this make me question my profession.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
how
could,
you could cheat at it.
yeah, exactly.
How
Honestly,
do
I
I
should be out fishing, man.
you're like, how do I get mechanic groupies that will shock my nipples with a car battery instead of going to work every day?
I feel like I could make that happen. I feel like
Yeah.
that's already a thing.
Whose stomach and or discs do I have to suck to get some groupies around here?
I'm
I'll go
about.
to work on Monday and you'll just be like swallowing weights. I'm like, Joe, that's not how it works.
You go to work on Monday. I'll see you. I
Oh
won't be
yeah,
there.
long weekend.
Yeah, dude. I'll be golfing. All right.
Nice. That's a good way
Yeah,
to spend the weekend. I will
dude. This
be,
weather has been insane.
dude, yeah, it's October and it's still fucking summer weather.
Yeah, my
I
brother's
mean,
in Ontario right now, and it's like 6 degrees. We're making fun of
yeah,
him so much today.
like if climate crisis is affecting us this way and everybody else is just getting shit kicked with hurricanes and winter weather,
Keep it up.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. No, I feel like we
Yeah.
picked the right city to live in.
Yeah, except unless it gets all dry and shit.
Yeah.
But
There's a big fire today in Richmond,
oh, was
like
there?
next to a temple or something. Massive, smoky as
Like
shit.
a Buddhist temple?
Yeah, it was like right next to the Buddhist temple.
Oh, that
Uh,
one that's in Steveston?
no, it's the one that's on number 6 road. There's
Oh,
like two of them, two pretty big ones.
crazy. I wonder if it was like arson or if they were just fucking
I don't
doing
even know if it
Buddhist
was on the
shit
same
so
property
hard.
though. It was just it just happened to be next to it.
Was it though? Or was it
They're like,
Buddhist?
I'm burning down this house so I could expand.
Was it like one of the Buddhist monks went next door and was clapping some cheeks? So like
Yeah,
Buddhist God was like sent down fire and brimstone and burnt
it
the
had to
house
have been.
down?
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes logical sense, honestly.
I'm just gonna think about this and imagine some Buddhist monk clapping some like housewife's cheeks. Like lonely housewives and Buddhist monks. It's my new favorite genre of porn.
That's right.
Because the Buddhist monk can be like, oh, this is how it works. Okay. So you get this like lonely housewife, and she's like, oh, I'm so lonely by myself. I almost did a stereotypical Asian accent there, but I stopped
Almost did
myself.
it.
I feel like I should get honor points for that. Anyways, so yeah, so we can have like, ooh, how about this? A Southern Belle. I don't know why there'd be a Southern Belle up in Richmond, but so there's a Southern Belle lonely housewife. And she's like, I'm so lonely. If only I had company. And she sees this Buddhist monk like practicing his
Yeah,
Buddhist monk stuff under
yeah.
the trees in the yard. And it's just like
Super
backlit and there's
majestic.
leaves falling. And he like
Yeah.
takes his shirt off and he's all stoic and he's like jacked with a washboard stomach. And she's like, oh my. And then she like starts talking to him. She says she wants like Buddhist lessons or stuff, and then like does stuff, and it's like, oh hey, and then she like says, hey, do you want to come to my place for tea? And then they have sex. I haven't figured out how to get from tea to sex, but we can work that out later. I mean, it's
I feel
not
like,
really,
I mean, it's a monk, man.
yeah, that's true. But she would like have to teach him and stuff.
I
So
like
it would
how much you
so,
thought that out.
oh dude,
I
when it
feel like
comes to porn
you're
synopsis,
just like, I feel like you've already pre-written that.
I've already done the research, Joe. I've seen enough porn. Okay, so here's what happens: the monk gets stuck in the wash machine,
There you go. There you
and
go.
then the lonely housewife just comes up behind him and starts jerking him off. Bing bang boom. What more story do you need?
That's it. That was
Uh,
wild. You're
yeah, that
got
would be a
a
great porn.
creative mind.
Anybody who wants to steal my idea to make Buddhist monk and
Oh no,
Southern Belle Lonely Housewife porn, do it. Just send me a link and let
yeah,
me
that's
watch it
probably
for
already
free.
been made.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably where you got it from. Probably just watched it
You know what, Joe? Now that you said that, I'm going to do a quick mid pod Google search for. I'm going to my trusty x10xx.com. This is like the most porn heavy
Yeah, dude.
podcast ever. So I'm just looking up
Well, you
Buddhist
fully laid out the scene.
monk. Buddhist monkey. What? Oh, dude, there is monk porn.
Yeah, dude.
Dope. Ooh, this is like hairy 70s porn though.
We're like in the age now. If you've thought of something, it's probably been done.
Yeah, Rule 34. Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
I think so.
This is all like gross amateur stuff. I want to see nice, big, shiny wieners, not little normal person wieners. All right, I'm gonna close that
They're
before I get too distracted
they're being realistic, is all.
and completely derail the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, how did we get to Buddhist porn from the fishing derby? And that was because there's a fire there. So
Yeah,
we're good.
that was my bad.
I love because the nickname for this podcast is Tangent Factory because we always just go off into the woods because I'm a host and I have ADD. But I always love backtracking where it's like, because it's like we got to Buddhist monk porn and we got here
Where'd
because
we?
we're talking about a fire in Richmond,
Yeah.
which we were talking about
What was the
because
cause of it? But I
of
don't know.
climate change.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
how we
right.
got to fire?
No, we'll
How
we'll
did,
talk about how nice it was and how thankful we are to live
yeah.
in a place where climate change is affected.
And then how hot it was.
Then I
Oh,
randomly
and then
mentioned
like
Richmond
other
Fire
places have calamities, and then you said Richmond fire. Well, why were we talking about climate change?
because I
Oh,
went
because we're
golfing.
talking about the weather and what we're doing this weekend. Because I was gonna go to work on Monday, and you reminded me there's a we solved we solved the problem.
That's
We
it.
solved it.
This is
We're
like what
good.
we do at work. You know,
Yeah,
there's always like something broken, and we're always like, I wonder how this happened. We sit there and
yeah.
we stare at the machine. We stare and we
Hmm.
look at our watches, and it's been a half hour, and then we come up with some bullshit conclusion,
Yeah, we
and we
like
both agree that we wasted the half hour.
we're like this machine got broke because a Buddhist monk was fucking a housewife so hard on top of it that it
Yeah,
bent the
exactly.
rails.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
That's gonna be the solution for everything that got broken in pub in at work now.
Yep. I'm cool with it. Uh, so
Nice.
I forget what we were talking about before that.
The
Oh yeah,
fishing
sorry, the
derby, the
fishing
loot.
the fishing derby.
I think we covered the fishing
I feel
derby.
like my conclusion
Oh
on that
yeah.
is um I need to get into more fishing tournaments,
Yes, I
quit my
want to
job.
put the video. Okay, I'm going to find.
You have
Okay,
it? I
here.
have it open here.
Yeah, I found it. I'm just copying and pasting. I'm
Hurry
putting the
up,
link
Dale.
in the comments. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live right now, I just put the video in the comments. If you're listening to this, I will put the link in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you've probably already seen the video, but I will also put the link in the show notes. So I think that's about all we need to talk about that. Oh, did you see Justin Trudeau bungee jumped?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I I should watch that.
It was like the most random thing because in the notes, because it's been so long between episodes, like the last episode we did was September 18th, and Justin Trudeau went to the Queen's funeral and sang Bohemian Rhapsody, and everyone's like, I can't believe he sang a song.
But was
We're
he
such old
actually doing like an
fucks.
official event, or was he just like?
Well, it wasn't during the event. They went to an event, and in the hotel where he was staying, there was a piano, and someone started playing Bohemian Rhapsody, and he sang along, which is fine because it wasn't like he's like, let's fuck over the Queen's funeral, whatever.
Yeah,
My only umbrage is Bohemian Rhapsody should never be sung in public again. We've
yeah,
all sang it enough. Every single
yeah.
person alive knows the words. It's fucking over. Put a pin in it, sing a different song. But
Yeah.
like a lot of people, I think I don't know if you've noticed this before, Joe, but there's a lot of people who dislike Justin Trudeau
Yeah, there's definitely a handful, maybe one or
because
two.
they're blaming everything bad that's happened to him in the last, how long has he been premier? Like 10 years?
A while.
Fuck, I have
Yeah.
to look this up every podcast because I
Too long.
always end up talking about Justin Trudeau
Well, there's like you
because
got two topics on him here.
everybody's always fucking pissed about it. Um, how would I Google this? Give me lessons on how to Google Justin Trudeau,
6 years
Prime
in office.
Minister. Oh, there we go. It's only been 6 years. No,
Yeah.
he's
Right?
on his third term. He was the leader of the Liberal Party since 2013. Oh, he's been the prime minister since 2015.
Oh,
So
okay.
7 years. Yeah, because he
Yeah,
did a
yeah.
full term. Then he did. Wait, how's he on three? Oh yeah, he did a full term, and then he had an early election, but almost a full term, and then he had another election during COVID because he wanted to sneak try to get
Yep.
majority, and
Yep.
it didn't work. So, but anyways, the world has basically gone to shit since 2015.
Yeah.
Um, and it wasn't Trudeau's fault. I'm just gonna say that it was all the other shit. The pandemic, I don't think Trudeau did. That was all Fauci's fault.
Yeah, exactly.
And but yeah, people are always upset with Justin Trudeau, especially that one fellow at work
Yeah.
who calls me a communist because I voted for Trudeau
I think
three
that's funny.
times,
Yeah.
and I'm
I
going to vote a fourth.
I don't judge you. That's for
Yeah,
sure. Because either way, I feel like no matter who you vote for, it
yeah,
always ends up the same.
yeah. Well, yeah. My thing about Trudeau is I don't think he has a personality. He's like tofu. He just soaks up the flavor of what he's in.
Yeah.
Like everything Justin Trudeau has ever done has been a reaction to the popular opinion. And that's what I love. Like,
Yeah.
just figure out what the most people want and do that. It's the
Yeah.
best politician ever.
That makes most
And
sense for sure.
everybody's like upset because he banned guns. And it was like, yeah, there's a lot of people in Canada who don't want people to have guns. And he's just like, all right, we'll get rid of some of these obscure ones that look like assault rifles but aren't assault rifles. And then it's like, okay, I don't own any of those anyway.
Yeah. I think the one thing that scares me is it's way easier to get an illegal gun than it is to get a actual firearm. Like I've been
That's
offered,
true.
like I have friends in nefarious places, and I've been offered
You have
handguns
friends
by
in
this.
low places, Joe?
Yeah, pretty much. And they like this kid one time. I never
Yeah.
knew. I didn't know him, and it was the first time meeting him. He offered me like he's like, yeah, I could get you a handgun. I'm like, I'm good. Like I don't really need that in my life right now.
You're like, bro, I could be a cop, or
It
he
was so
might be a
casual.
cop.
It was
Yeah.
very. He might be a cop too. Who knows, right? But he was
He's
very
like,
casual about it.
hey, do you want a handgun? It's like, yeah, no. Do you know how much long you go to jail if you have a handgun in Canada without the proper permits?
Oh, it was a
Like,
very long time.
I
You
have
don't
the
get you
pro.
don't
Yeah.
you don't get a handgun unless you plan on using it. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't exactly plan on walking around and
Mm-mm.
shooting people right now. So,
Like, I
how about
have
we?
the permit that I can get a handgun, and I'm not because it's too big of a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
So if you don't have a permit, because like if you have a handgun and the permit, you have to tell the cops when you leave your house with it.
you
So if
can't
I have a
stop.
permit for a handgun and they catch me outside of my house with this handgun, I'm going to jail like that. That's it. Even
You
if I'm
can drive
allowed.
around with a shotgun in the backseat.
Yeah, but they're like shotgun. You could kill like what, 5 people till they can
Yeah,
bust like tackle you and stuff. Yeah, it's funny because legally, a shotgun, if you have a pump shotgun, you can put as many bullets in it as you want because in Canada, if you have a semi-automatic and it's longer than, I want to say 40 centimeters, then it's a regular handgun and you can put as many bullets in the clip as you want as long as it's
semi-automatic. Right?
no, not even semi-automatic. It has to be like bolt action or
Oh yeah,
pump action because then
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah, bolt. Yeah, I guess pump action technically is a fucking bolt action because it moves the bolt, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a gun scientist, but if you have that, you can put as many bullets through if you want. But if you have a semi-automatic that's a rim fire, which means 22 caliber or smaller, you can also have as many bullets in it if it's semi-automatic.
Do you have any guns?
No.
You know what
I
I find funny about that is how much you know. I
well
mean, I
I
have my pal too, and I
yeah.
completely forgot all those
Yeah, I
things.
took it a couple years ago because when the pandemic hit, I was like, look, people aren't going into the forest. Wild fucking animals are just out there fucking in the woods, getting more of them,
Yep.
and bears are going to encroach in the city because I was like back when the pandemic started, I was like, I don't want to live in Vancouver anymore. I don't want to live in any city. I want to go to the fucking little town where there's forests and stuff. And I was like, but if I go there, there's going to be a lot of animals, so I should get my license so I could shoot bears because bears are demons pretty much. Like if you
Yeah.
think about it, if life is an RPG, bears, cougars, tigers, those are all the fucking monsters you have to fight.
Yeah.
And if you think of life as like good and evil, bears are demons and they're just in the darkness waiting for you to slip up and just fucking jack you. Like they have the mouth of a tiger and knives on their hands and feet.
And they weigh like a absolutely ridiculous amount. So
Yeah,
all they have to do is just step on you, and you're
yeah, and
pretty
they
much
can
good.
run as fast as a fucking horse or some shit.
30
Maybe
kilometers
not,
an hour.
maybe not fully a horse, but faster than me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Faster than literally anyone. The funny
yeah,
thing is, your defense mechanism against a bear is to yell at it and stand tall.
yeah.
It's just like, yeah, don't
Well,
be afraid.
that's a black bear. A
Yeah, true.
black bear basically what you have to do is you have to be like, okay, bear, for you to kill me, it's gonna be slightly annoying and more harder than you thought it would be. And they're like, that seems like a lot of effort. Because apparently black bears are low-key stoners and they don't want to put in effort. But
Makes
grizzly
sense.
bears, you have to like pretend you're dead because they're like, they're like cats. They're like, I don't want to eat this food unless it's fresh.
Makes sense.
So if someone were to like, if you play dead and someone took you and put you back in the food bag and then pulled you out, the bear would think you were fresh and eat you, just like a cat.
Savage. That's pretty demon like.
Oh yeah. So people hate Trudeau.
Yeah, it's no surprise. But
And so yeah, he was singing the song and everybody got upset. And then he went bungee jumping. I think it was for his son's birthday, and it was like the world's it was either the world's highest bungee jump or
yeah,
Canada's highest bungee
it's
jump.
definitely I think North America's highest bungee jump.
And that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
I'm it made me like Trudeau more.
I'm kind of
Like,
jealous. He's like living the proper prime minister life. He's
yeah.
he's taking advantage of everything. He's
Yeah,
living the good life.
every time a prime minister does something that I would do if I was prime minister, I'm fucking like, yeah, that's dope. Like I don't see PP Polivier doing the bungee jump. He's just gonna be at home and be like fucking Skrelly and be like,
Yeah.
let's talk about villain stuff and
Yeah.
taking money from people. Woo."
Yeah. At
Yeah,
least at least Trudeau's out there risking his life to have fun.
yeah.
I
Trudeau's
appreciate
like,
that.
what did people want? Yeah, fuck, whatever. Do that. I don't care. I'm
Yeah, I'm
just
gonna go
fucking here
bungee
to look
jumping.
good.
Fuck this.
Yeah. Whereas PP Polivier's like, life's hard. You know what would make it better if I took away your social funding? And everybody's like, wait, that doesn't sound like life would be easier at all. And
Yeah.
that, but I do like how Polivier does. He is a little conspiracy. He's like, because before he was the leader of the conservatives, he was like, anybody in the World Economic Forum is getting kicked out of Parliament. You're like, oh shit,
That's wild.
really?
He's just ready.
Yeah, he's just like fucking full into the conspiracy shit. And I'm like, I like that about him, but everything else, I don't know. I could never
I,
trust a conservative.
I feel like most of our prime ministers in the past have been hated on
Yeah.
for any problem that's going on in the world today or in Canada in particular.
Yeah.
They're just ready to blame it on the prime minister.
Like Trudeau's so hated, he's been elected 3 times.
Yeah. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. And it's like the best thing about Canada is Trudeau could be there for 50 more years because we don't have term limits or anything. The guy could just fucking ride out his entire life. And I mean, that sucks if it's bad, but it's like if he was bad, he would just get unelected.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a good and bad thing about Canada.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
he, yeah, I don't know. I feel like anything he does, there's going to be a news article saying how
Yeah.
people hate what he's doing,
It's
even
so
if
funny
it's
because, yeah.
like Justin Trudeau went to go get coffee at Starbucks today. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. The one thing he did that I hated was when he called martial law, but it's like it's called the Emergencies Act now because martial law is just too triggering. But
Yeah,
he called it, and everybody's like, "There's never been a time when a politician took power and then gave it back. This is the worst thing that's ever happened." And then 5 days later, he's like, "All right, the convoy's gone, martial law's done," and everybody's like, "Oh, he did just not take the power." Okay. So it was like it was shitty that he took it, he like called that, but then he just uncalled it right away. So it was like, oh, okay. Like
yeah.
I
It was.
mean,
I was actually kind of interested. I was like, wow, this would be what I thought life was going to be like growing up.
yeah. And it's like the only reason he did that was because so many people were fucking so mad at Convoy. Like you mentioned Convoy now, and people are pissed off.
Yeah,
So that was just another example of him being like, "What do people want me to do? Okay, I'll do that." Like, because for the longest time he's like, "I'm not gonna fuck with the convoy. They're just blowing off steam. Just let them have their fun." And then finally he was like, "Fuck, fine, I'll get rid of the convoy. Stop fucking blowing up my inbox.
yeah, straight
Quit
up.
sliding into my DMs about this shit."
Yeah, best prime minister.
Mhm. Oh, you know what else someone did that pissed people off?
Listening.
Lizzo played a
Yeah,
flute.
I I seen the video. I laughed. I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
It's not even. She played like didn't really play it
Well,
necessarily.
yeah, that was just at her concert, but then she actually went. So what? If nobody knows what we're talking about. So Lizzo played a crystal flute from. It was 200 years ago. It's from the 1800s. Whose was it? It was
It was
like
owned by a former U.S. president.
James Madison. So it was
Yeah,
James Madison's crystal flute. I mean, we're gonna talk about why a former president had a crystal flute. Like, is this some cult shit? I don't know.
yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Probably.
I mean, 200 years ago, and
Yeah.
you had that. Like, damn.
Was that just like the flex back then? Was having glass
Crystal flute.
instruments?
Yeah, I feel like it probably was, honestly.
Some guy's like, check out my quartz tuba.
Hell
And
yeah.
this guy's like, I got a crystal flute.
Damn.
Oh, that's probably the best pickup line. Just go up to women in like the 1800s and be like, hey, I got a crystal flute at my house. Would you like to see it? And they're like, I'm not falling for this again.
Yeah, that probably got old quick.
Yeah. So this 200-year-old crystal flute, the was it the Library of Congress let her play it at her concert and she twerked to it and people were like, this is just so disrespectful of this fucking monster who owned the flute before, because this guy was a piece of garbage. He like fucking raped his slaves and then had a daughter and then sold her and some shit. Like
Sounds about
James
right.
Madison, not a good guy.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't look
that
it up,
doesn't
it'll
surprise
just
me.
hurt your feelings.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
It sounds like everything in the past, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Basically pre 1900s the world was shit
And
and you
terrible.
just fucking tried not to get stepped on.
Yeah, exactly.
Um yeah, so Joe was saying she barely played it at this concert. Like she played like 4 or 5 notes. But then she
But she
went,
had enough time to twerk.
yeah, that's true. Then she went to the actual Library of Congress and wore normal clothes and played it, but didn't twerk. And I guess she was good at playing the flute. Like she's a professionally trained flautist. I
I would
don't know
like
if
to
she
hear
was a.
I'd like to hear the second video, honestly, instead of
You could Google it. I think. Let me see. I'll try find it because it was like I put this one in the notes, and then
I do
the
find it funny
second,
that
yeah.
this thing had to get escorted to her, like with security and everything, and then that's what
Yeah.
she decided to do.
Dude, you how like because there's this old white woman who like is I guess the flute handler,
Yeah, yeah,
the presidential flute
yeah.
handler, which
This is my job.
I'm gonna run by that nickname by Andrea, see what she thinks of being called my flute handler. Anyways, so it was probably the fucking highlight of this old woman's life, like going up on stage of a Lizzo concert and giving her the flute, and then she played it, and then yeah. I'm not
I
going to
mean,
Google it right now in the middle of the podcast because
I
I've
don't.
already done too
Yeah,
much Googling, but I'll
I don't
put
know
the
why
video
people
in the
are
links
so upset about this.
because people are
Honestly,
stupid.
yeah. I mean,
That's
this whole thing is hilarious.
Yeah, the whole
Like,
premise of this podcast for 221 episodes is people get upset about stuff they shouldn't be.
yeah,
And
people have way too much time
it's
on their
funny because
hands.
when me and Derek started this, we're like, I don't know how long we'll have stuff to talk about. And it's
Like,
like
it's endless.
it's a never-ending river of shit.
Seriously amazing. Like
Yeah.
you could just spend a half hour on the internet and find two or three
hmm
topics.
I
Easy.
spend 35 minutes researching each episode, Joe. It's
Yeah,
more
that
than
sounds
a half
about
hour. No, and it's
right.
funny because it's like I don't even have to research. Like this shit just finds me. Like I'll be going through Reddit or Twitter or whatever or Facebook once in a while, and it'll just be like a thing will pop up, and it'll be like this Lizzo thing. I'll be like, why are people upset about this? Well, I'll talk about that, and then like Trudeau does something, and people are like, well, I'm upset about Trudeau, and you're like, all right, yeah,
I
and
feel
then
like
all this stuff.
they'd be more upset about the person that owned the fucking flute. I
Yeah, but people like
mean, it's the past. You can't change the
mhm.
past, but
The
you know
problem with people's anger is it's like my attention span. It's very short. Like
yeah,
people probably already forgot they were mad about Lizzo last week and now they're like moving on to something else.
yeah.
So it's kind of good. It's kind of good and it's kind of bad because this podcast, it'll be like, I'll talk about what people are angry about. And they'll be like, I don't remember that. That was last week. But yeah.
Sounds right. I don't know. That was pretty random. You got another couple topics here.
Yeah.
Um,
We're at over an hour, so we can punch out anytime. Is there anyone you want to talk about?
I thought it was pretty hilarious that Adam Levine.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
So, oh, and also Adam Levine, like I was talking about P. Polivier, he's the same age as me. Adam Levine is the same age as me, 43.
pretty
Uh
mind blowing. He looks way younger.
apparently I'm
No offense.
dirtbag age. I thought Levine was older than me because he's been famous for like 20 years, but I guess he's been famous since nothing makes me feel less accomplished in life than finding out Adam Levine's the same age as me because he's been like washed up twice. Like he was a singer of Maroon 5 and then he went away and was washed up. Then he was on like The Voice or whatever and then he went away and he was washed up. And now he's back because so I guess what happened, we'll just explain what happened. So Adam Levine is the singer of Maroon 5. I don't know if they're still around or whatever. And he is married to a Victoria's Secret model. I don't know her name. I don't feel like Googling it. Sorry. They have two kids. Well, now they have two kids. And he cheated on his wife with a Instagram model, which I guess is the new Victoria's Secret model.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works. I don't know how social ranking of models works. And then she was like, whatever, I can keep a secret. I got that famous dick. I don't want to blow up his spot or whatever. But then Adam Levine just went like weirdo creep and was like, your body's so hot. She's like, yeah, obs. That's why you had sex with me for
Yeah.
my Instagram pictures. And then Adam Levine's like, not to be weird, but can I name my son after you or my daughter or something? And
Yeah.
then she was like, all right, this is too weird. And so she
Yeah.
blew him up on social media. And her name's Sumner, which I'm hoping is made up because that's a weird name.
It's a very, very weird name.
It's either like a fun play on summer that she didn't want to be summer, or it's like some weird, like magic throwback thing.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
Google it right after I said I wasn't Googling anything. I'm gonna Google Sumner and see if it's like,
Traditional name. I don't think so.
oh, it's a
Some
town in Washington.
That's random.
City of Sumner. Come on in. He should have just said that. He's like, I'm naming my kid after the city of Sumner
Yeah. That
because
he would have
that's
got
where I
away with it.
plugged my wife.
Yeah, that's right. That would have been genius.
Yeah.
That's a
Um,
fucking strange thing to ask someone.
yeah. I mean, I wonder if Andrea would be okay if I named our kid after one of my exes because we're like 4 months pregnant right now.
Oh, I didn't
So
know that.
this is basically the whole process is me coming up with dumb names and Andrea being like, we're not naming our kid that. Like I'm like, what about Brutus? And she's like, no. And I'm
I
like,
feel
what
like
about Bear? No.
that is the job of the
Yeah.
male to make up all the
I
dumb.
told her she could name it because she's like doing most of the work. Even though right at the beginning I did all the heavy lifting and now she's kind of doing make work for 9 months. But at the beginning it was all me. I just want
Yeah.
everybody to know it was
You,
very hard.
you played an important part, Dale.
I did. For that fucking 3 minutes, the whole job was on my back.
Yeah. I almost died, okay?
Fuck, at my age, I've only got so many left. Oh
Uh,
yeah, didn't I tell you? I've been kind of like telling people at work whenever it comes up because it's like the weird thing about telling people you're having a baby is it's like kind of awkward because they're like, "Oh, that's so great," and you're like, "All right, this is weird. I don't want to talk
yeah.
about it that much." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Congratulations," and you're like, "You don't even know if I'm gonna be a good dad yet. Don't you want to see if
Yeah.
I fuck this up
Yeah,
first?"
like calm down, all right.
Yeah. Like, what if I accidentally make Dahmer 2.0? Are you gonna tell me congratulations then?
Probably not. No.
Like, I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer's parents didn't want him to be Jeffrey Dahmer, but he still did that. Like,
Yeah.
what if I do that?
Definitely not in the good parent role there.
I wonder if there's a parenting book on how to not make your kid a serial killer.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Without a doubt in my mind. You could
Maybe
probably
I'll
find
write
it.
that book and
I'm
then
down.
watch just by fucking Murphy's Law, my kid ends up being a serial killer.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell him this. I'll sit him down when he's like, if it's a he or she. If it's a she, I'll be like, come on. There's been no great serial killer, so you're wide open here. Like what was that girl? Winrose chick? The one Charlize Theron played?
Oh man, I don't know.
She like killed 3 dudes. That's nothing.
Yeah,
So I'll
you
sit
gotta
down
go
with
on
my
a
daughter,
full
I'll be like,
rampage.
your kill count just has to be 3. And then you're like the best woman serial killer ever. But if I have a dude, it's the complete opposite. I'll be like, okay, if you're going to be a serial killer, just be one of those unknown lesser serial killers. Like you can't be Bundy or Dahmer or Gacy or Ed Gein. You have to be like someone I can't even think of right now.
I do know what you're talking about. There's like this one guy who actually came out after years. He's just like, yeah, so I've been like murdering all these people, and he was like mad because no one recognized him and no one was able to find out because he'd
Oh,
only
like
do like I
was that the
forget
Green River Killer?
I don't know. I forget who it was. I remember watching some sort of show on it.
Yeah, and there's one that like Patton Oswalt's wife, who's deceased, helped find by reading books or something.
Yeah. It was
Yeah, be
basically like he was mad that people didn't know that he was murdering people.
yeah, be that one. Don't be
Yeah.
like the fucking gross guy that everybody's like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah. So Adam Levine, I was just
Yeah,
like,
I was waiting for that.
I was like, what the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know how we got to honestly.
We're talking about Sumner and then me having a kid and me not knowing exactly how to not make children serial killers because this is my first try. So,
I think you'll do well.
well, don't say that. Now I
I,
have to live up to that.
I
Now I
set
have to
pretty
do
low
well.
standards. You know this.
Yeah. My goal is to not have a lot of baggage.
Yeah, it's hard. Honestly, my
Yeah.
dad's parenting style was kind of just like, don't die,
Yeah.
and then you're good. You're gonna have a great life. I kind of, it's just like, like the scale of fucking around and finding out.
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna have to fuck around a lot if you want to find out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as
Mm-hmm.
that, really.
Yeah, I'll be like, if you're fucking around, don't make the find out jail time. Make the
Yeah,
find out like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
That's like a 6 on the scale.
Okay, so say you're porking the super hot Instagram model.
Yeah.
How hot would she have to be for you to name your child after her?
You know, I mean, I feel like all Instagram chicks are like an unrealistic portrait of like perfection. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of chicks out there that have all the assets. So I feel like almost any Instagram chick would have do the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though.
All right.
I feel like I'd have to be pretty fucked up in the head to come up with
Okay,
that
how
answer.
about this? Like you just said, like now Instagram's been around long enough for anybody to be a model on there. They have to be very hot because otherwise they would have just been
Just
like
yeah.
removed with the chaff.
You don't make the algorithm.
Yeah. So, but now you can still be a TikTok model and I don't want to body shame anyone or beauty shame or whatever, but let's just say TikTok model doesn't hold the same prestige as Instagram model. Would you name your
Yeah.
child after a TikTok model?
No, that's disgusting. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
I think this
Man.
guy's pretty legendary for actually the funny thing is there's a picture with the caption of him asking for that. And then
Yeah.
he just after that he just sends like a shrug emoji. It's like, like mine
Yeah, if
just
you're
throwing
not
it out
okay
there.
with it, well,
If
just an
not, it's
idea
cool,
I had. Mhm.
maybe yeah, like so nonchalant.
Oh, your boy Jeremy's going off in the comments.
Is he?
Well, yeah, I wasn't reading them as we
Oh
went.
damn, Jesus,
There's
Jeremy.
so many.
Bricks now.
Uh
Oh
he
god.
he asked for some, well, yeah. What are some tricks and tips for everyday small talk? Well, talk about annoying shit no one wants to talk about.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what small talk is. My favorites are crazy weather today, huh? Which is good because anything counts as crazy weather. Like it can be crazy good for the time, it can be
Yep.
crazy bad, or it
Yep.
could just be blibs.
Very open ended.
But I guess the best thing for small talk, hot tip, is ask about something that if you end up having to talk about it, you won't kill yourself out of boredom. So talk about something you like.
Or something that's interesting or wildly crazy.
Yeah. Or don't ask yes or no questions. There's a
Yeah,
good
that's
one.
yeah, that's a don't you hate it when you're talking with someone and it's just like they just answer with a yes or a no, or they're just like, "Mhm, mhm," and you're like, okay, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna leave. Like, fuck this conversation.
Yeah, that's funny because in real life, it's funny because I have a podcast. So it's like we just spent an hour and 20 minutes where I did most of the talking. Sorry, Joe. But in real life, when people talk to me, I'm like, just get me out of here. I don't want to fucking talk about this. But like, I do like talking a bit. But then there's just like, after 10 minutes of real life conversation, when you're like, yeah, I don't want to talk anymore. And I'm just going to walk away.
I mean, I feel like we do that like at least 10 times during the day.
Hmm.
No, I'll just show up in your work area and we'll just shoot the shit for a few minutes and then be like, okay,
Yeah.
this conversation's now ended,
Yeah.
and I'll just
Or
disappear.
you
Yeah,
reach a point where you've been talking, you're like, if somebody's been watching us, we might get in trouble. So I'm just gonna
yeah.
go.
See, the thing is, we only talk important business.
That's true.
You know?
Like, how hard was that monk fucking this whole lonely
Yeah,
housewife on this
to make this
machine to
bar
break
bend.
it?
Yeah, exactly. Professional.
All right, I think we talked about everything.
Yeah, we actually hit all. I'm pretty sure we hit all the topics,
Yeah.
unless I'm
Um,
retarded.
is there anything you wanted to talk about that wasn't on our list of things to talk about?
No, not really. I don't really keep up with what people are pissed off with on the internet. I usually like what I really like to watch is like rescue missions of people being like doing stupid shit, like or like getting caught under snow and like how
Oh
people
yeah.
rescued them almost dying basically, or like I've been watching a lot of these like cave rescue videos, which I find pretty fascinating.
Oh my god, I can't handle cave videos where people get stuck.
But it's
Like,
like underwater cave diving, even it's
oh
even
my
worse.
god. Like,
Yeah,
it's like I'll think I don't have claustrophobia, and then I'll watch a video of someone in a cave, and I'll just like want to rip my skin off. It's like I can't. I just can't.
I've been watching this one YouTube channel where they're like, this dive talk is what it's called, and they'll be criticizing all these people that go into these caves that don't have like proper training or don't have the
Oh
proper
yeah.
gear, and then they'll
Hmm.
like come into like near death experiences, and like these people are so dumb. Why did they do this?
Yeah. I know in my limited amount of like scuba diving into cave information is you have to go real slow because if you kick your feet or anything, you'll kick up the silt and
Yeah,
then you won't be able to see. And
yeah,
then you could like fucking get caught and shit and die.
yeah. You don't know which way it's up or down,
Yeah.
back or forward, and there's like a line that they follow when they go through the cave.
Hmm.
And like if there's so many things to cave diving. There's a reason why you have
Yeah.
to be certified, obviously. So there's all these people. Like there's this one dude who actually brought his kids into a cave, and it's like they're like, why would you do this? They this is the most dangerous thing you could do with your kid. Like if you don't want to see your kid for the next fucking for the rest of your life, this is something that you
Yeah.
should do. But
That was a terrible thing to do. Do you have your scuba gear license or
no,
scuba diving
I
license?
actually now that I've been getting into it, it seems like it could be a kind of a fun thing to do.
Dude, that's been one of those things I've always wanted to do since I was like 24. I was like, I'm going to get my scuba license. And then I never did. So we should go get our
Yeah,
scuba
dude,
licenses
I'm
and
down.
then we can fucking die in a cave.
Dude, you could be an underwater welder too.
Uh, I
You're like,
think I'm too old
yeah,
because it's
maybe.
so hard on your body. Well, this is what one guy told me, and I just took it as gospel. Was he said that unless you're under 25, they don't really train you because it's so hard on your body because you get like the fucking bends and shit that like
Yeah, yeah.
so.
You basically, it's extremely hard on your body.
Yeah, plus they're like, it pays so well, and you're like, oh, why does it pay well? And they're like, well, because you're always dead by your 50. I'm like, that's in 7 years. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Hmm. Although it would be nice to make that much money,
Yes, it would be.
and then I could just buy fancy shit. Um, so are you on the internet? Do you want anybody to go look for you anywhere?
No, don't find me.
Okay,
Don't look for me. I see.
leave
I
Joe
watched your
alone.
last podcast. I think it was your last podcast. I don't know. Your one of your friends was like, "Don't fucking look for me." I thought that was hilarious, but accurate.
Yeah, that's
No,
funny.
I tried starting like this vlog and didn't wasn't my thing. And I was like, yeah, fuck this.
Oh yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
moto
yeah.
vlog.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Like now you could just do a moto TikTok.
Yeah, I'd get
Yeah.
way more views. I just have to do stupid, crazy shit and make it a challenge.
Don't do crazy stupid shit. Just do cool shit. Yeah. Or do
Everything I
crazy
do is
stupid
cool.
shit. I don't want to hold you back, Joe.
I mean, I like half of the things I do is crazy,
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Okay. Well, you can find me on Twitter at SuperDalebot. The podcast Twitter is Outrage Fact Pod. Send us some feedback on email, outragefactpod@gmail.com. Um, if you're listening to this on the audio version, please go to our YouTube page, which is you just go Google Outrage Factory and it'll be there. And then like and subscribe. And yeah,
Yeah, that's a
go
good plug.
go check out the Redbubble page. We have swag available there.
Hey, I didn't
Um,
know you had all this swag. I think I knew you had mugs.
yeah, I have mugs like this one. On one side is the Dale Show. On the other side is Hang Loose Outrage Factory. But For these mugs, you have to message me directly because I get them from Costco. You can get mugs on the Redbubble store, but they're just like those janky, like regular mugs. These are like bigger mugs or what? I don't know. It's like the whole world of mugs is something I never knew about till I started making them, and I was like, this is very difficult.
I'm
Anyways,
gonna
if you want a tall mug like this, just message me, just say it in the comments or email me and I'll get back to you and stuff. Um we have a Patreon, but Derek turned it off and then they took it down. So we don't have a Patreon. But yeah, if you wanted to get us money, just go to the Redbubble and buy some merch, and then you'll have merch. That's good. Or just tell your friends to watch this. Yeah.
yeah, thanks for having me on. It was
Hey,
it
no
was a
problem.
it was an
Sorry I
interesting
talked
conversation.
over you so much.
No, it's all good, man. It's typical. I'm used to it by now. We talk every day, Dale.
Yeah. I don't usually talk this much over you in real life. But yeah. So is that it? You want to say anything else?
No, shout out to Jeremy for watching and
Yeah,
whoever
thanks,
else
Jeremy.
decided to watch. He plugged
I
up the
hope
comments pretty hard.
that's good. I hope he got all the advice he needed about small talk.
Yeah.
If you want to know anything else, just comment on the video or go to the Facebook page. Yeah. So until next time, stay angry.